Welcome to Daily Success. Listen in on these personal conversations with today's leaders, innovators, and influencers as they discuss daily success principles, systems, and solutions. Get ready for Daily Success. Now, here's your host.
Hi, this is Tammy Patzer, and I'm really excited to introduce today's Daily Success Word of the Day expert, Michelle Manire. She is a high-achieving, detail-oriented professional executive with extensive experience in the meeting, event, and hotel industries. She has a knack for problem-solving and sound fiscal management. With a stellar reputation, Michelle's company, Coast to Coast, delivers programs with innovation, creativity, and flawless execution. Large-scale events and high-visibility programs are managed in the Long Beach, California area and across the nation. Coast to Coast has built a brand that is reliable, dependable, and exceptional with a strong focus on delivering best-in-class products, services, and technology while continually advancing knowledge about the company and the conferences and events planning industry. Michelle, thank you so much for coming today and being our Daily Success Word of the Day expert on the word dignity. Can you tell me what your definition of dignity is?
Of course. Hi, Tammy. It's great to see you.
Thank you.
Dignity to me is the most important word because it is treating people with respect and treating people the way that you want to be treated. And I see so many times that is not the case. People lose focus on taking care of other people and treating them as they would like to be treated.
So in your business, because you run this national or international event planning business, you have to interact with hundreds of different people. So how does dignity work in the entrepreneurial world or in the event planning world?
It's truly treating everybody equal and giving everybody the value and the respect that they deserve. So it doesn't matter if it's obviously the client, you're going to treat them with a great deal of respect, but it's the employees at the hotels and the vendors that we work with, that they're our team. And we look at them as our joint team to make our client be successful. And everybody is equal in my eyes in that respect.
So with dignity, how important is it in terms of, is it a foundational thing to you to create dignity in the workplace and of course in your personal life?
You know, it is, because I think everybody is moving so fast nowadays that it's just checking off tasks and getting done with things. And what has happened is that we don't think before we talk. And I've got a couple of prime examples that really got me on the dignity trail. And it's two of my friends were either fired or laid off, which that does happen. However, the way that process was done, it was done personally and attacking them personally, which caused them, and still to this day, and it was a year ago, I believe they're going through PTSD. It rocked them to the core. They lost their confidence, and they couldn't justify what happened. And when you can't justify and understand what the problem was and why they attacked you personally, you don't get over it, because our minds are trying to rationalize everything. And when there's no rationalization, it gnaws at you. And I've seen that happen so many times. And yes, it's uncomfortable for a manager to fire somebody or lay somebody off, and all they want to do most of the time is just get rid of that situation, not thinking about the other person and how they're going to treat the other person? How can you let them down easy? And truly the best thing to do would be to work with them and make them understand this isn't the right fit. And that happens. But can you imagine if you did that and they walked away and said, oh my God, you're right. This isn't the right fit. Thank you for caring enough to to help me work through this, instead of leaving with shock. And that's why I just said, I know that there are so many other people out there that have gone through this, and they feel alone. They don't feel like anybody else has gone through this. And it's interesting, as I've gone through, I'm out and networking a lot, and I run into people that's happened to, and they're embarrassed to say anything, but yet they're not alone. And I just want people to know that. And I want the managers and the people that have the right, but they shouldn't have the right to treat people the way that has happened.
Well, I think we live in a world today where that very scenario that you just talked about, it seems like people feel more comfortable attacking people. Here we live in a world where we're always talking about anti-bullying, but in the online environment, people are constantly bullying other people over their, let's say, their political views or their religious views or the way they look. Mm-hmm. So you actually mentor people so that they can understand how to communicate with people in a dignified way. How do you do that when you're mentoring people and helping them to learn how to communicate effectively without personally attacking someone?
Well, it's taking it up a level. It's not taking it to the personal level. Obviously, if there's a performance problem, that needs to be addressed, and it needs to be reviewed with the employee, and come to some certain agreement of tasks or things that have to be completed to improve. It shouldn't be a negative. It should be, I want to help you. It should be a positive experience. You're falling down on this particular performance. I want to help you improve, so that it's not an attack. I think that's one thing. And I think also putting yourself in the other person's shoes. How would you feel if I came across and talked to you that, you're obviously not doing a good job. I don't know what's wrong with you, but it's just not working. Sorry. Okay.
And so, like, what do you mean there's something wrong with me? Because most people, from my experience, when they're trying to do a job, they really are trying to do their best at mm-hmm. whatever it is. And you're right. Sometimes it isn't a good fit, but that doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you at all. It's just that you're in a situation that maybe is not a good fit. You mentioned the situation about when an employer has to lay someone off. And I think that in general, why would you even have to bring up anything personal about that person if it was a general layoff situation where you just had to say, hey, we have to, lay off a whole bunch of people. It happens to be you're one of them.
Well, sometimes it's not that easy also, because it may be that person got laid off, but they don't understand why somebody else got to stay. So if you lay somebody off, they're not just going to say, okay, thank you, and walk away. They're going to want to know why.
Right.
So you have to, a lot is in preparation. And, just like in sales, when you look at objections, right? So you prepare for those type of objections. So in dealing with employees, you've got to be introspective on how they're going to feel, what you think their objections are going to be with what you're saying, and be able to say it in the proper way with care. That it's, you don't want to be adversarial. You want to care about the person, So that's really. I like a saying. I just met somebody this morning, and they said, you have the right, but it's not right. And I thought that was pretty powerful.
Yeah, you have the right, but it's not right. So with Dignity, I know that you have, again, coast to coast conferences that you help people, you plan these events. How do you work with people so that when they're putting together these events, that they have this streamlined situation? Because I was lucky enough to talk to you the other day, and you were talking about how you've always been somebody who could plan a great event, and that you had a knack for treating people right and with dignity. And I was laughing because I am someone who, every time I've tried to plan an event or a party, let's just say that I overbought the food, or I didn't know how to handle, the event, like when I was 16 and the boy I liked was dancing with my best friend instead of me. So I have all these mixed feelings about event planning that have absolutely nothing to do with the reality of today and wanting to have a live event so that I can bring people together in a positive environment. So how do you help people plan their events?
Well, and believe it or not, the 5th most stressful job, according to Forbes magazine, is event planning. That's not a great thing, right? But it is stressful. And a lot of times in corporations or associations, they're doing event planning on top of their day-to-day job. And there's so much detail that goes into event planning. But if you have a system, and we have a proprietary system called the 6 Ps of simple event success. And it's a 360-degree process. And if you go through that process and it's a step-by-step, it's not going to be stressful. You have, different steps that you're going to go through. And then 360 degrees at the end, you've got a playbook to start your next event. So what happens is invariably, and this happens in large companies, small companies, when you're done with an event, you're so exhausted, and it's like the last thing you want to do is talk about it, right? So that's the best time to talk about it. So you want to make sure that you do a debrief, that you're writing your playbook for the next one. So what are the recommendations? What didn't go well? You always start with your goals and objectives. That's the first step. And make sure that all along those steps, you're monitoring those goals and objectives, and you're adhering to those. And everything that you build, the planning process is built around the goals and objectives. And then, like I said, at the end, you have a playbook that saves at least 20% labor costs, because you're not reinventing the wheel, and the following year or the following time it's time for an event, you forget what happened. So we take our clients through that, and I'm actually developing a program around that so I can help others, make it easier.
So when you say you're developing a program, will this be a training course, or what does that mean?
So it will be. It'll be a training course. It'll be a program they can just buy online. I will be speaking. I'm developing a speaking platform now for that, because I don't want people to go through this pain. They don't have to. And I have been in the business for a very long time. I was a general manager. I was first woman general manager in a couple of hotel chains prior to starting this company. So I know the industry extremely well. And I want to share my insider trade secrets, so that I want to give everybody tips that they don't have to go through this pain.
Wow. Well, I like that, because then it brings us back to dignity, that when you're trying to do something that may not be, what you do every day, like if you're working another job and, oh yeah, by the way, plan this event, and then it doesn't go well and somebody blames it all on you, that's something that would make you feel, really horrible and damaged.
Yeah.
So I think that this is my helper. This is my cash flow. It's Friday. So what's really cool is you also have a program where you help people and you teach them the 5 critical planning fundamentals when they hire an event planner. Can you just share what those 5 things are quickly?
Well, I mean, there's multitudes of those, but it's really before you. Not all planners are the same, right? So you really need to spend time interviewing who you're looking at. If you're looking for a corporate planner, a social planner is not what you're looking for. Is your bottom line important? Which generally it is. Does who you're hiring, do they understand how to negotiate the best pricing? Do they have reporting mechanisms where they can give you statistical reports? What kind of software and technology do they use to streamline the process? How are they sharing the information with me? And are they transparent? That is a big thing. We're very transparent. We're very ethical. We give more value than what our price is because that's what it's all about. And so you need to really qualify your planner. In addition, you need to make sure that they are covered with insurance. A lot of times they're not. You need to ask that question because if something happened and they're not covered, I mean, you could be in serious trouble. We're also licensed with the Department of Justice, and we're also bonded. You should ask those questions. Are they covered enough to protect you and your attendees?
So what kind of insurance is that?
It's liability, errors and omissions, automobile. It's, all your standards, but it's expensive. So a lot of planners don't or can't afford it, number one, but don't have it because it's too expensive to have a business infrastructure. And you want to know about that business infrastructure as well. Do they have a team? Can they pull in a team if something happens, if you're the point person? So those are things that are really important to look at before you hire somebody. Because once a contract's signed, and you should have in the contract ability to terminate with cause of, if there's a problem as well.
Wow. I didn't realize there were so many details in the planning, but I certainly would want somebody who knows all of those things to talk to. So if somebody wants to work with you or get more information, how can they do that?
Well, they can call me directly. I'm happy to take phone calls. My number is 562-980-7566, or I can be reached on my email, which is Michelle, MICHELLE @CTC, and then the word conferences.com. And I'm happy to give a 15-minute complimentary consultation if anybody that is here listening to this needs help. I'd be happy to get on a phone call with you for a 15-minute consult.
Oh, wow, that would be really great. And what is really cool is you do work, obviously, coast to coast. Mm-hmm. Yes. And is there any, are most of the conferences you do, are they large events? Are they small? Or what is your forte in event planning? Is there a size that you like to work with?
We work with conferences and events that are 100 people to over 10,000. And no, I mean, our claim to fame, if you will, is that we put on awesome events for businesses and our clients just show up and we do the rest. So our logistics team coordinates all the logistics. Our marketing team, if they need marketing services, builds the roadmap to put people in seats. And then we have 25 years of experience. So we're able to save our clients 15 to 40% on the bottom line. And we do everything from sporting events, incentive trips, social affairs, and corporate meetings and conferences.
Wow, that's really cool. But I mean, if you think about that the amount of money that you save people could make the difference between that being a successful event and not being a successful event.
Yeah. Well,
I really learned a lot. I learned a lot about dignity in the workplace and also in your personal life, because I think that a lot of times people don't think about that they don't think about all of those layers. And like you said, when you attack someone, even if it's unnecessary, like you have to let them go, you should let them go so that they do have dignity, because it's hard. I know from personal experience when I've been let go and I'm sitting there like, I was thinking about that as you were describing it. And I'm like going, how did I feel? And it was funny because earlier today I was talking to a friend and we were talking about a time when I was let go as an editor of a magazine. And it was just because it was summertime and they didn't need me for another 3 months. And so they decided, we'll just let her go and whatever. And of course, for me, I was devastated because I was relying on that income at that time.
Yeah.
And it was like, well, what happened here? And it was really just them cutting costs, and they weren't thinking about me. And that meant that I had to figure out how to, make enough money to raise my children. They just were thinking about the bottom line. And so I'm still thinking about that. And that happened maybe 10 years ago.
Yeah. See, that does happen. It does. I mean, it's devastating, and a manager doesn't necessarily think about what the ramifications are going to be, not just with you personally, but in your life. Right.
Right.
And it's just not thinking about the other person as a person that you care about. Right.
Right. And I think that that's a key factor too. All of us want people to care about us and what happens to us, because when we work for a company, they become our, we spend most of our time with those people every single day, and they become our other family. And then one day it's kind of like, well, see ya.
Yeah.
Like, what happened? And a lot of times they really don't have good answers,
right,
at all. So I think you're really right. You do need to treat people with dignity. Yeah. So Michelle, before I let you go, do you have any last words on the topic of dignity for our daily success word of the day?
A couple of things. I would be very interested if anybody is willing to share how many of us are out there that something like that has happened, and possibly, connecting people, to share their stories, and to see that they're not alone, and if you feel comfortable emailing me at michelle@ctcconferences.com and want to share your stories, I would be more than happy to develop a blog on, and that's one of the kind of passion things that I have, is that I want people to feel alone. So I guess, and so my parting word is, or a couple words is, treat people with dignity.
Treat people with dignity. Thank you so much, Michelle. I really appreciate the time. And hey, everyone, she just gave you an opportunity to share your story about something that may have happened to you and how it relates to dignity and how it felt to maybe be let go or have something like that happen to you. And maybe your story could help someone else to feel like, hey, I'm not alone. This happens to other people, and to help them rise up and to be able to come out of that with strength and dignity. So thank you so much, Michelle. I really appreciate that.
You're welcome, Tammy. Thank you so much for allowing me to share.
This is Tammy Patzer, and this has been Daily Success Word of the Day, Dignity. Thank you.
You've been listening to Daily Success. Tune in again and subscribe. Never miss a moment of daily success.